Beating the Bulls is one thing. To beat the Cavs, did it on election night, which I think a lot of people missed, maybe didn't pay attention. And it snapped an 11-game losing streak between the franchise against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Some of that predating when Kent went to Atlanta. Anyway, he joins us on CBS Sports Radio. How are you?
I'm doing good, brother. How about yourself?
I'm not as well as you because, look, when going into the year, like, all right, Schroeder's going to be the point guard. How much has he improved as a shooter? Dwight Howard, which Dwight is it going to be? And I don't know. It feels like look, this is just outsider. I haven't watched every minute of every one of your games, but I've watched enough to know, like, Dwight looks 3-4 years younger, and Schroeder looks like the real deal so far. Are you even maybe impressed by your teammates to this point?
Dennis is a very hard worker, and it's just my third year with him, and he's very fearless, and that's what he needed a lot of this year. Coming into this year is a big year for him. Been handed the keys to a franchise that got one of the most dominant players of all time to join. So I'm sure there's a lot of pressure on him, but he's handled it well. He's carried himself well. He's got us off to good starts in games with his defense, and he's becoming an all-around player, and it's fun to watch.
It's amazing to watch. How about for you? What's it been like for you? Whatever your own personal expectations are, I know they're high, but they get made loftier because of the expectations of people knowing what you signed for and what you're making. How have you handled the transition from a good player who's wildly underpaid to a guy who's expected to produce night after night?
I've handled it well. I think, I'm one of my toughest critics. And to start the season, I was wanted it too bad, so to speak, and I got out to a very slow start. But, after doing, some soul searching and just, calming down and letting things take its course, I'm starting to play a little bit better. My defense hasn't wavered much, and I'm passing the ball a lot better. And, I'm just comfortable now. I'm getting more and more into shape. I'm in the weight room, and, things are looking up.
Kent Bazemore joining us on the Doug Gottlieb Show, CBS Sports Radio. All right, take me through these photo bombs that you and Dennis Schroeder do. Like, these are really, really good, really, really creepy. Who was the first photo bomber?
I think I started it, but it's something that the people of Atlanta kind of ran with. Everywhere I've been creative in a sense as to where. It's Bazemore in the Bay, and when I got here, people started running with the Bays gaze. So, it's just it's not anything that's planned. It's just just me being me, and people running off with it.
Schroeder kind of copying your style, though, right? Like, that's he saw the Bays gaze and he decided to do it. Did he get clearance?
Yeah, he's good. That's my point guard, man. We take care of each other. We have fun out there on the floor together, and it's good when we can partake in a little bit of foolishness after the game.
Before you played with Dwight, what was your honest impression of him?
I was a huge Kobe fan growing up, Laker fan growing up, and my first time actually really, really watching him was in that finals game, because, Orlando really didn't get ton of TV time, when I was coming up, it was always Lakers, Celtics, and those kind of teams. So, I was a fan, for him to take a team, to the promised land, said a lot about him and how dominant he was. And I was always a fan, how high he jumped, his character, how lightly he takes himself. I'm cut from the same cloth, I'm never, too serious, and, I'm always smiling, and I love people that brighten rooms, and I've always, liked that about him. And when I heard he was signing here, man, I was elated. One of the most dominant players of all time that played with, two of the best shooting guards of all time. So there's a lot I can learn from him in that aspect, and it's been a blast so far.
It feels like, and you tell me if I'm wrong again, it feels like though there will be some spots where you might not be as good in the regular season, it feels like a postseason move. And look, it's obviously been a great week and a great start. And what he was able to do against Houston, obviously in winning that game, I think shows how much he wanted to compete and show them where he was physically. But it feels like that was a move that at the time kind of people were stunned by. But now in looking back, it makes you a much more likely contender in the postseason than maybe you had been even with Al Horford. Is that fair?
No question. Yeah, Al was great for us. Al, spread the floor for us. He was knocking down threes. He was guarding. He was blocking shots. And, with Dwight, it's just a totally different ball game. Our numbers have been up, and, rebounding percentages are up. And he's given us a ton of second chance points. We're getting to the free throw line a lot. And, he's just changed the dynamic for us. He's such a presence down low, and he opens everything up. And, one thing we lacked all of last year was, I think, physicality and a little bit of girth. And he brings just that. And, against Cleveland, obviously it's early in the year, but he did an amazing job of someone that's been a thorn in our side since we've been playing the Tristan Thompson.
Yep.
Kind of mellowed him out.
He was just he was better than Tristan. Look, he's like a bigger, when he's active, he's like a bigger, much better version of Tristan, of what Tristan wants to do, and he matched his energy. Is that's a fair depiction, right?
Yeah, that's so fair to say. And he was in large part why we won that game. I mean, obviously, we played well as a unit, but for him to control the boards and ultra shots, it's tough to drive when he's standing in there. So. We were close to the shooters. We were able to get a hand up and contest the shots. And, Thabo Sefolosha started on LeBron James, did a great job of keeping him in front. So it was a good all-around victory, and it was very, very, very encouraging, for the Hawks camp.